Hello race fans and welcome to JACKOCAR Kia Series for round number 6 here in Canada. I am your one of two commentators tonight. Peter and I, and joining me once again is Sullivan Lewis. Welcome to the box here in a sunny Canada.
Sunny, but for how much longer? Drivers reporting rain already, apparently halfway through the session, so not even started and we could see an interesting qualifying session.
Yeah, so the drivers that are going out first could be the ones leading the front for the race if there is rain expected at the tail end of this session. But we'll find out which one of those drivers who are starting their qualifying laps in the dry, which one of them can snatch pole position.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting qualifying session. 18 car grid, which is always nice to see. Not quite the full 20, but again, with there's space available, reserves needed. So get onto the JACKOCAR 2 Twitter account if you are interested and have time to race at this time. But Barbara O'Reilly then, first out on track. I think we're going to see a few different liveries. Obviously, last week, Throwback Week, we saw all the throwback liveries. This week, we're going to have a few newer liveries to look at and show. So will be nice. Will be nice to see that, and we'll go through Barbara O'Reilly's lap when he comes to cross the line.
Yeah, it's one of the shorter lap times of the season. We're looking at the 108s, 109s, 108s, maybe 107s, if the drivers are quick enough. But we're expecting rain. So with the track being green as it is, it's going to take a bit of rubber to get towards those times. So Bab O'Reilly, Luke, is our first driver on track. Take us through Risky.
So they're coming down the main straight right hand side to shortest run, and then flick left at turn 1, bit deep left Barbara O'Reilly, but turn 2 is then the wide long right hander. Then you've got to kind of almost into 7th as you flick it right for turn 3 and 4 is on the left through the twisty bit round turn 5, which is here, and heavy braking zone into turn 6. You want to get it in 3rd, hit the curb, and flick right for turn 7. That's not quite the line you want to be taking there from Barbara O'Reilly, but anyway, out of 7 then, power down the DRS straight towards 8 and 9. This should be done in about 4th gear, flick right, flick left. Unfortunately for Barbara O'Reilly, he's gone straight across the apex, so not exactly the best of laps at the moment. Down towards the hairpin of turn 10, one of the trickier braking zones, but if you get the exit right, you're going to get a lovely run through the kink of 11, which is there, and then the right kink here, which is 12, down towards 13 and 14, the longest back straight, the DRS main straight. You might see a few overtakes as we come through 13 and 14. Wall of Champions to the right. We don't want to hit that, don't get anywhere near that. And then across the line, down at the start-finish straight, and a 1:13.7. So I think we might see a few improvements on that.
Yeah, but it is valid time. It is a valid time. Very tricky track to keep it within the white lines. I think Bab O'Reilly got a little bit lucky with that cut at the second chicane, middle sector chicane. And yeah, that's the benchmark. Kyle will be next to beat it. He's continued to run his Racing Point inspired livery from last week, which we didn't get to see much of as he was involved in an incident on lap 1. Can he keep it clean?
So, sorry, invalid. It's alright, invalid through the chicane. So unfortunate for him, like you said, Barbara O'Reilly gets the valid time, and then Kia Kyle behind. That is his lap over.
I noticed as well on the graphic, Newgarden has chosen mediums as a potential qualifying tyre to start on. No jokers, so everyone will be doing 2 stops as far as I'm aware. Mediums could be a good strategy, but we know the 2 stoppers tends to be a soft medium. So maybe getting that first medium set out of the way could be crucial. Waze is next to start a lap, and I also noticed Evil Dragon selected wet, so he thinks it might get incredibly wet when he has to come out in qualifying. Hopefully he doesn't come out when it's dry. So Waze into turn 1 in his purple I think it was Lewis Hamilton helmet-inspired livery that he couldn't show last week because of his race ban. Can he snatch pole position here in Canada? His playoff chances looking very slim, but a race win secures you straight into the playoffs for Waze. 20.3 in the first sector. Not sure whether it was purple. Didn't show up on the graphic, on the map graphic, so it might not even be purple, because sometimes when it is purple, it's not on the graphic, and when it's not purple, he might not have been purple. But can he be clean through the chicane? Is that a hit of the wall? Might have grazed it. There is wing damage, and just a reminder, simulation damage at that, so he's lucky not to lose a wheel there. Round the hairpin onto this long DRS straight. If it's wet, DRS won't be usable, but here Waze can take full effect and the benefit of a little bit of slipstream of the distant car ahead. This is going to be tricky though, into the final chicane. With that wing damage, he's going to have to take it nice and cautiously. Does, keeps it out of the water, champion. Can this beat the 1:13.7 set by Luke already in this session? It is a 12.2, 1.5 seconds quicker, but not the sort of times we are expecting in this qualifying session. Next is the Swedish meatball of the tier, Isaac, through the final chicane, up to the line. At least he got the nationality right this time. Can he snatch pole position? It's a 1:10.7, and that's 1.5 seconds again quicker than Waze.
Yeah, so not a bad lap there from Kingdon. I suppose a little bit lucky to be on the earlier side if this rain is going to come. There's a 50% chance of rain, I think about halfway through the session, maybe a little bit later. So this rain might not come, but if it does come, those out towards the very sort of end of the session are going to be not benefited. That's the word I was looking for. So also reports of rain in the race as well. So rain towards the end of the race. So what a sort of exciting prospect this race could be. We're only like 10-ish, if that, minutes into qualifying. And we're already thinking about the potential rain in the race. Maybe that throws a spanner in the works for the strategies, because two-stop race, no jokers around Canada. Which drivers are then going to go, right, I'm going to go as long as possible and make that stop onto the wet weather tyres? As Bill, I think, will be next across the line. Or will it be Newgarden? It will be Newgarden.
Yeah, so, Newgarden in his white and red. New livery?
On the softs? I don't think we've seen this one. Yeah.
Yeah, round the final chicane. By the way, as you were speaking, VSL Clark set a time, slowest of all, 14.0, but it's a time on the board. Newgarden doesn't snatch pole, but he's on the front row at the moment. 11.4, Newgarden, but keeping it within track limits. A lot of drivers not pushing the track limits. If you do, you find the time, but it's better to put a valid, slower time than a quick, invalid time, because that won't gain you any positions. Who is next?
Exactly. Bill, who has it invalidated.
Yeah, but you have to still finish the lap. Where would Bill have gone with a 10.6? Would have been pole position, but with a corner cut, some say that might have been enough to snag him pole, which is why he is invalid. Next is Jess in her, I believe, their one hub colours, purple and a bit of yellow.
It's a very nice livery, that, actually.
Into the middle section, okay, nice and clean. 14.0 is the target to get off being the slowest on track at the moment, but a 10.7 is your target time. Purple middle sector, allegedly, but could be quick.
Yeah, a lot of drivers saying in chat last night, just for pole, just for the win. So a lot of people backing Jess around this track, and that was nicely done through the final sector. Jess just has this consistency in qualifying and goes P3, so a 12 flat for Jess. That's a good lap. We've seen some really good improvement from Jess over the past couple of weeks, like consistency wise, and over the many races that she does. She's really starting to improve, so it's good to see from one of the most legendary commentators of the community. Next is Indecisive, back in his blue, green and yellow, quite famously for Indecisive.
Yeah, I think an incident with Jess on Friday in One Hubs, Canada. So the two are set P10 and P11 indecisive inside the playoffs at the moment. So these two are going to be going at it for that final spot in the playoffs. Keeps it valid. 112.0 is his target, essentially, if he wants to beat Jess. Oh, it's a 12.0 as well. 2 hundredths quicker than Jess, and puts himself on the second row, along with Jess, but alongside and ahead.
Yeah, good lap from both those two drivers there. So I think they're going to stay towards the top end of the timing sheets as Baza around the final couple of corners towards the line. We're able this lap time put Baza P2 front row of the grid with the 1:11.029. So that's a good lap from Baza, just over 4/10 faster than Newgarden, 3/10 behind Kingen. So Baza always qualifies quite well, I noticed. So he'll be very happy with that. Camo Babo will be next, our full-time in both tier drivers. One of the very first drivers to do so, but it works and it fits the league well, so by all means go for it. Not happy that he's beating me in Cup Series, but anyway.
Yeah. He lost his essentially a race victory, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, did Kamababo. He's here in his squashy car once again, and he snatched his pole position this time around with a 109.9, 8/10 quicker than Keenan. The clouds are starting to form, but not as quick as we were thinking for there to be rain at the end of this session.
I don't think we will see the rain. If we do, it might be just after the session ends, but no rain in quali, still could be rain in the race.
Yeah, so while we wait for the rain and Cloud Mozzo is on his next lap, we'll go through the driver standings ahead of this round. So Jamie maintained, even though he didn't finish, got taken out by the safety car, even though he didn't finish last week, still maintains the lead of the championship with a win on 65 points. Gareth is second, even though he missed out last week on 58. Yuri secures his place in the playoffs and sits third in the championship on 54 points after winning last week in Italy, throwback week. Next is Jake on 50. Those are the four drivers that are not only in the top four, have all got a win. Connor has stepped down, so his playoff position will be given to whoever finishes 10th, as Cloud comes around the final corner, 109.9 to beat. It is valid, so up to the line, so 110.7, just shy of Kingens, but on the second row ahead of Baza. So those are your four drivers that have won so far, including Connor's Monaco, but stepped down, so his points aren't in the table. Danny Quinn is the leading driver on points. He's 51, actually one ahead of Jake, and looks set to advance on points without a win, unless he can get one here or in the next couple of weeks. Chris, who we saw, or on board with now, as we go on board with Jake. So Chris is in 6th on 46, ahead of Niels, who's not here this week, on 42. Next, it's quite close between 8th and 10th, 34 for Kamababo, 34 for Baza, and 32 for Indecisive. And then the drivers outside of the playoffs at the moment is Jess, Bill, Matt Rosamond, who scored his first points paying position last week with P5, 12 points for him. Isaac, Noah, Waze, Andy Lincoln, Liam, and Kaya. So Jake went P2, no one yet to beat Kamababo's time.
No, it's a quick lap from Kamababo, but it's getting greyer and greyer by the second. And just confirmation as well for Newgarden's livery. It's a Red Bull Japan tribute like we saw in Turkey from the Red Bull guys at the weekend. So nice livery there. I'm sure he'll be excited for that to be added to the game now. Quinn then through the final few corners attacked that very quickly. This is looking like it could be a very good lap up to the line. I don't think it'll be pole, but it's close at the top. Second row of the grid for Quinn. And just look how dark it is out on track, as Yuri will be the next one. Goes purple in sector 1. it's raining as well, I think.
Yeah, this is going to really affect Yuri's end of the lap. You got a little bit of a slipstream off. I think that might have been Splinter.
I believe.
Yeah. But the performance should not change too much, even though the rain is starting. The impact of the weather will only kick in when puddles start to be formed and the rear starts to be really slippy and you lose a bit of grip. But when it's starting to sprinkle, only the temperature really affects the tyres.
Yeah, I think Yuri will be okay around the final few corners then. Nice, a little bit slidey than you maybe would have wanted, but exit was nice, entry was pretty good too. It goes pole with a 198, so track must be improving even slightly, but now we're going to see Gareth on the mediums. Maybe he can get himself into the top 10. That's what we'll be hoping for anyway. So we have a yellow flag. I think that's Yuri getting out of the way.
Splinter.
Yeah, it was indeed. So, Gareth to the line. B7 on a set of mediums, so
Guaranteed top 10 start.
Nice lap for him.
I noticed, well, Evil Dragon didn't come out the pits, I don't think. So, I wasn't, maybe I've missed something.
No, yeah, Evil Dragon didn't come out the pits. Oh yeah, of course, qualifying ban, I think, for Evil Dragon. I shall find that. Yeah.
Please find out. Splinter, only man yet to set a time. Can set a time. Yuri will start on the front row of the grid, but will it be pole position? And will Splinter get yet another pole position and playoff point to his tally? Round the final couple of corners, the final chicane, nice and tidy. No corner cuts there. Up to the line, 9.8 to beat. It's only a 10.3 from Splinter, and he's on the second row behind Speed Quinn. And one or two drivers inside the top 5 that are yet to get a win are Quinn and Carababu. So they're ahead of Splinter and Jake, who have taken the victory here this season. So that's qualifying for you. Only got Gareth to enter the pits, retire from the session. And we can get this race underway. The rain did come, but not soon enough to disrupt much. Maybe it affected Splinter at the end, because he was allegedly purple in the first sector, but could have lost that with the rain getting a little bit heavier. Yeah, so Yuri takes pole position, so not only bags a playoff point, which is what he's aiming for realistically, because he's secured his position in the playoffs, getting those playoff points that give you a boost at the start of the playoff season, essentially, give you that extra step closer to making it through each round of the playoffs. So Yuri is on pole position with a 109.8. Only 2 drivers managed to get into the 109s, and they're starting on the front row. It's Carababa from behind Yuri, but then it's Quinn and Splinter on the second row. Jake and Isaac are 5th and 6th, with Cloud and Gareth on the mediums, starting 7th and 8th. Bazza and Newgarden round out your top 10. Indecisive, Jess, Waze, Baba Riley, VSR Clark, Kaya, Evil Dragon and Bill would all start on fresh tyres, as long as it's dry. Well, even if it's wet, they start on fresh tyres, but I wouldn't say Gareth start on mediums anyway. With Kaya, Evil Dragon and Bill, only drivers yet to set a time, and I think only those 2 invalidated their lap times, Kaya and Bill. So everyone keeping it nice and clean with track. Hopefully that can stay the same in the race, because if you abuse track limits multiple times, you will be penalised in-game. 3 warnings, and it's a 3-second time penalty. And if you blatantly cut corners, you may receive even further punishment, not only from the stewards, but in-game penalties could be higher as well. Nice and sunny for the start. Everyone lined up on the grid. There is no formation lap as far as I'm aware. Can you confirm, Risky? Are you here?
Yeah, formation lap should not be on just because of the glitches has been known to cause. So for the foreseeable future, formation lap shouldn't be on. So we'll find out pretty soon. But
yeah, it caught me out last week.
Yeah, as soon as the countdown happens, it's race time.
Yeah, we'll get ready to get underway. In terms of the constructors, turtle legs still at the top, but the gap's been closed with Dump getting the second win of the season, 154 to 170. Are the top 2. The 4 tops are 113 in third. Squadra Viola 92 in 4th. And the only team yet to get a victory this season on 91 points. Only 1 point behind 4th place, actually, are Gendrick Motorsports. There's your countdown. 7 seconds till lights out. And we can see what drivers do into turn 1. 35 laps, I think, to look forward to here in Canada. And here come the 5 red lights. Yuri on the right. Camo Babo on the left. Boogity, 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 let's go racing. And Camo Babo has got a jump start for and a drive-through penalty and jump to start. Yuri gets a nice clean run into turn 1. With that jump start from Camo Babo, he came off the throttle and then back on. Quinn managed to jump him, and it's a speed 1-2 as we speak. Camo Babo down in 3rd. King has had a marvellous start up to 4th, and I think a lot of people are... Cloud's lost a few, and it's Jake who's tumbling down the order. Left, right and centre might have damage. There's your strategy for the 2-stop. Soft, medium, medium. There is a possibility for a 3-stop, but I don't think anyone wants to risk doing that. But I don't think there's any point either, unless you get significant damage throughout the race. No safety cars so far, but everyone's keeping it nice and clean as Waze gets by Jess. Purple versus purple. It's Waze ahead of Jess and just shy of the top 10. Hopefully he can keep it out of the wall this time around compared to his qualifying lap. As we can see, VSR Clark attacking Baba Riley. Baba Riley defends the inside as he goes up the inside of Jess. And VSR Clark wants to make that 3 wide. Jess goes slowly on the exit. Bill nearly taps his front wing on the back of Jess's car. And it could be 3 wide further down the field. But everyone's staying within 1 second of each other. Closest battle, other than Bill overtaking Jess, is Bazza on the back of Gareth, who's on those medium tyres. A lot of drivers pitting very early and taking advantage of pitting lap 1 just in case there is a safety car. Those drivers are Camo Babo, who's actually serving his drive-through, probably. Splinter's in and Cloud is in. That's probably a strategic call from both of those drivers, talking to each other, probably in a party as well. Don't want to be losing out if there's a safety car, if others pit. So they jump the gun first. Camo Babo will come out ahead of Kaya, I believe, who's been struggling. He started on the hards. Let's see what tyres everyone else is on.
Yeah, just going to throw in there as well. Splinter at turn 1, I think, got a little bit squeezed on the inside. Didn't make a wing change, I don't think, but maybe just wanted to get out the dirty air because he was a little bit further down the other than he would have wanted after the first lap. And at the minute, Quinn's going to be on the blower to Yuri, telling him to get a move on because Quinn's going to be under pressure from King. And once DRS is enabled, if the 2 speed drivers fail to pull away sufficiently, because it's 8 tenths between them both, and Quinn looking a little bit stronger through the first sector in comparison to Yuri, but we'll keep an eye on that gap as we look down the rest of the field. Very close between some of the guys and girl of Jess. Evil Dragon on the back of Jess into turn 1. He's going to make a move. He's going to look down the inside. He's going to hit the wall as he goes down the inside as Jess defended, so that might be a bit of damage for Evil Dragon. Makes the move anyway, has a bit of a loose exit, but shouldn't hinder him too much. Indecisive looking down the inside of Jess, thinks better of it. Jess obviously on the softer tyres, so Jess will be pitting sooner than Indecisive as he picks up a penalty there. But Bazza and Clark around the outside of Bazza, and it's now going to be Bill looking down the inside of Bazza towards the chicane. Thinks better of it. There's a much better overtaking opportunity coming up for him. He's just got to play it right, play by ear. And now looking at the top guys, the 2 speed guys have done exactly what I've said, have increased the pace and dropped Kingdom that little bit. What this does do though is gives Quinn the DRS, which means he's going to be all over the back of Yuri. And we've seen these 2 guys fight for position last week, but Quinn there goes a bit deep, basically gives King another chance to get back into this fight. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch these 2 guys, see what they do. Oh, is that Waze in the Wall of Champions? And that is a safety car. So front wing on for Waze, must have hit the Wall of Champions, I think, bounced back over onto the other side, hit the wall, spun around, no front wing for Waze. So this will be a pit stop under safety car for him. It will be a legal one, so does technically help him.
Camo Babo is now exiting the pit. Sorry, Risky. Okay. Yeah, I was about to start commentating when you finished, but I remembered I was still on mute, so that's great. So I thought, you know what, let's do the non-polite thing, even though I should have been polite and interrupt you instead. But yeah, Camo Babo did pit. He did exit the pits quite quickly. There's a short pit stop around here. I think it might be legal. will get requested footage by the stewards or submitted. He'll have to submit that, as that is his first stop of 2 and can be classed as legal if he was already in the pit lane by the time said car came out.
Yes, that is true. So we had a few niggles in terms of incidents with the pit lane last week. So just got to be just got to keep a watchful eye on that. I will be obviously noting them and sending them to the stewards. Now, the only one I can guarantee, I suppose, at this point will be Waze going into the pits with his absolutely broken front wing. Just see if anyone else pits. No, Waze does, but this will be a legal stop for Waze, as no front wing for him at all. This also helps the likes of Splinter and Cloud as well. They've already made their one stop. Everybody else ahead of them has to pit 2 more times, but again, the rain could come at the end of the race, so bear that in mind.
Yeah, do you want to save that final stop to the point where you possibly could change over to Inters? That saves you 20 seconds of a pit stop if you've already completed 2 stops and it's wet enough for intermediate tyres. So Waze is in a little bit of a predicament now, because he started on mediums, got damage early on, can't theoretically run medium soft to the end because I don't think that'll work. Depending on how many safety cars there are, he is going to start on the softs, so it brings the possibility of going on to the hards or mediums at the end and not risking getting damage on mediums again. Yeah, it's going to help Splinter and Cloud. I think there might be team orders between Yuri and Quinn. The reason is Yuri has already won a race and he's already guaranteed in the playoffs. You could say Quinn is theoretically, because of the amount of points he's already secured. The difference between him and Jess, who's currently in 11th, is quite significant, to the point where Quinn should be safe even after this race on points. But I think a win for Quinn could really work and put some confidence in him going forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think as much as Quinn's been up there fighting for wins, he just hasn't quite managed to get it. And I mean, as much as he deserved one, I think today is as good a chance as any. But you have to remember as well the stops made by other drivers, as well as the potential rain at the end. So unless there's some master strategic plan or some instance down the back end of the grid, this is still wide open. But it's good to have the 2 speed drivers, 1 and 2, not only for their benefit, but a bit of good publicity for Team Speed, who are still in partnership with
no bias.
No bias, but you got to support your teammates.
Yeah, this is how it finished last week as well in Italy. Speed Y Racer was ahead of Quinn at the finish line. Quite a close finish, because Yuri did have a 3-second time penalty. Connor did help Yuri out. Funnily enough, in chat last week, if Connor was ever ahead of Yuri leading the race and Yuri was P2, Connor would let him through to win, and it actually happened, and Connor kept his word, and we saw Yuri take his first victory of JACKOCAR this season, and I think he's 3rd in JACKOCAR history. He's equalled me, but then again, he's in Kia, so it's fine. He's got more than you. Risky.
Oh yeah, of course. But Pete, you're going to be arguing to get yourself a Kia Series next season.
One can only pray. But the safety car in. Restart will be done on the finish line or 2 grid places back. Yuri will lead the way. Nobody should pit, as he's got to complete 1 green flag running lap. So Yuri will be ahead of Quinn. We'll go on board with Yuri. See if he does it right. He's gone at the finish line. What does Quinn do behind? Does he have any challenge? He does have Kingen up the inside. Quinn leaves the space, but doesn't make the move, but nearly runs into the back of Quinn. That could be damage for Isaac, the Swedish, in P3 at the moment. Jake was battling side by side with Clark. Clark's man is outside through the chicane, where we saw Hamilton and Vettel go side by side. No warrants for penalties between these two, as we see a yellow flag. I think that might be Kaya, who's lost a few positions on those cold, hard tyres. Kamababa's a lot further back as well, even having made an early pit start. Jess is starting to lose positions as well.
Camo Babo, yeah, just side by side with Waze. ways. That is not the way you take that corner. Cut the corner and just into the side of Jesse's going to have to give that one back, or be risk penalised for it. But yeah, Camo Babo got no front wing after that safety car restart, and biggest gainer of that was probably Newgarden up into fifth. So, but looking down the rest of the grid, no one really wanting to make a move. Bill dives into the pits along with Jake. Evil Dragon caught the chicane a little bit. Seen him do that already once this race, but nothing too major there because he does keep within the bollard that allows you to do so. And now we're going to see maybe a battle for a podium, battle for second. Just depends who's got the pace and who's not.
Yeah, those medium tyres could start coming into play now. Gas going to be in a good position, even though he did qualify on them. He's going to have a bit of rubber already laid down from them. But yeah, Clark, Evil Dragon, Baba Riley, Indecisive, Splinter and Muzzle all going to start being the faster drivers on track as Indecisive gets by Baba Riley. Baba Riley struggling at the moment down in P10, but I think he's gained positions off the start anyway. Yeah, so Gareth's challenging Kingdon. Yuri got a great restart, already pulled over a second to Quinn, and DOS will get enabled. Is it 3 laps after safety car restart, like usual?
Yes, on the 3rd lap, I believe.
Yeah, Gareth might not need it. As VSR Clark gets by Bazza. A lot of drivers not needing the benefit of DOS.
Quinn in the pits.
Quinn going for the undercut.
Actually.
Yeah, everyone don't want another safety car basically. Anyone that didn't pit after one green flag running lap decided to pit straight after. Was that a wing change from Quinn? It could be. I think that was quite slow from Quinn in the pit, to be honest. So that's going to hurt him. 6 seconds lost compared to anyone who doesn't do a wing change in the pit stop. So Yuri could comfortably come out ahead. Kingdon as well. Gareth and VSR Clark maybe. However, this fresh tyres for Quinn has lost him position to Newgarden and Bazza already.
Yeah, I think Quinn and Yuri might have made slight contact at some point as Splinter gets past Indecisive there. Just on the opening few laps, nothing major, but obviously even the slightest bit of wing damage can hinder you, and I think we might see a move into turn 12, 13 from Gareth. Oh, that was close, squeezed by Kingdon to the outside, gets the move done before the break-ins. Will we see Kingdon dive into the pits? No, Kingdon is going to follow, so maybe try and get the better exit, but not going to be close enough, not going to fight him, and this now releases Gareth. See what he can do on those mediums. They're going to have a little bit more pace than the worn softs on Yuri's car to go and hunt him down as Mazda gets past Indecisive along the start-finish straight there, where he's looking for a way by on his fresh softs, or fresher softs. Indecisive lets him through, plays a bit of a team game there. Not nice to see the team game into effect. Ooh.
It's getting spicy at the tail end of the field. Kaya nearly cut off Newgarden into turn 1 as he went for a late dive, but then Quinn decided to try and get involved as Bazza got out of shape on the exit of turn 1. 4 people battling for P12. Kaya not as yet to pit, runs wide and lets everyone through at the end of the first sector. Is he just letting everyone through? He can just go.
Maybe he's just being polite. Maybe he's retiring.
Maybe. Or he just wants to secure points and don't really want to fight anyone. Speaking of fighting, Baba Riley and Evil Dragon swap positions. Or was it Jake? I'm not too sure. But Kingdon's in the pits. No, Yuri's in the pits.
Yuri's in the pits.
Kingdon stays out. So does Gareth Clark. Anyone on medium should stay out. Splinter, net race leader, is in a good position. Only 6 or 7 seconds off the race lead with a pit stop in hand. Going to be quite far clear of Yuri. He's going to have traffic. Jake's done a major undercut and might get Yuri, will get Yuri, but Yuri will come out ahead of Bazza, Newgarden and Quinn. Quinn with that front wing change has cost him 3 positions at least.
Yeah, so Yuri come out not too bad of a position. If he gets past Jake, has a little bit of a free track in front of him, not by much, by a couple of seconds, but if he gets past Jake, I think Yuri's still well within chance of winning this race still. Obviously, Splinter and Cloud a little bit further up the road, but they're still in a bit of traffic behind Clark, King and Gareth as well.
Yeah,
Kingdon
this is
looking to
where...
maybe pit.
Sorry.
So,
VSR Clark.
yeah,
Kingdon
Kingdon
just
just going to the pit.
Yeah, this is where now, if Yuri wants to get back into if it helps anyone who had to pit later than Splinter and Cloud, a safety car around about now would benefit those drivers because it would close that gap back up. However, there's a lot of drivers on really old mediums that wouldn't want a safety car right now. Anywhere between now and Cloud and Splinter's final pit stop window would be beneficial for everyone for a safety car. Yellow flag.
Oh, it's Barbara O'Reilly backwards. Quinn's gone into the side of him, and that's both their races over. That's got to be a safety car, and is at turn 1. Barbara O'Reilly had spun on the exit of turn 2, actually. I think that is, sorry. Quinn had nowhere to go, into the front side of him, and wheels off. Both drivers out of this race, and safety car gives chance, at least for Kia, to catch up to the back of the grid. But yeah, not what either driver wanted. Quinn on for a decent race. We said at the start, can Quinn win this race? Well, unfortunately not anymore, as the safety car is waiting for the leaders.
Yeah, no one can pit. I think Quinn, although will be unhappy not going to be scoring any points, shouldn't worry too much about the competition behind overtaking because the gap is quite significant. Leroy in the chat supporting Yuri, brother on brother support there. This safety car, I was calling it, I was like anywhere between after Yuri's pit and before Splinter's. Now nullifies the effect of Splinter and Cloud pitting before the first safety car. And they're going to be on really old tyres compared to them as well. Like extremely old.
Yeah. Annoying for Yuri though, he didn't quite get past Jake in this phase of the race, so he's still going to have Jake and Waze on similar strategies. In fact, Jake is on the same strategy, so Jake, Splinter and Cloud, your top 3. That was in the most random order ever, net top 3. Waze
is
on those
technically
softs
top 3.
He's not going to make the end of the race.
It could go hard. It could go hard.
Could go hard, yeah, maybe. Maybe stick the set of mediums back on again.
This safety car will help. He can go one more lap. They'll have to do, well, this safety car will maybe stay out for a bit because the field's quite spread. Jess is in the pits. There has to have been a front wing change for that to have been legal. That may go to the stewards as well. Kai stayed out. Camo Baba is quite far back. Not sure whether he made another pit stop. Let's have a quick look. Pit stops made already. Camo Baba has made 2. I think he made his second when he got no front wing, but the first one he made is going to be questioned whether he was already in the pit lane by the time safety car came out. He's technically net race leader then, with Jess having made her second stop as well. Is on mediums to the end. However, this pit stop as well going to be scrutinised whether it is legal or not. But she will be at the back anyway. This is going to really hurt Gareth, Clark, and anyone who hasn't made a pit stop yet, basically. So that's Gareth, Clark, Indecisive, and Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon down in 11th. Yet to make a pit stop as Yuri's had a collision with Kingdon. Kingdon's hit the back of Yuri. Kingdon on soft tyres for his second stint, by the way. So we'll be aggressive. So Yuri's now got a 5 second. By being hit by Kingdon, Kingdon hasn't got a 5 second, but Yuri will now have to serve it. And the issue is, because you serve it,
yeah, that's annoying, but it's part of the game, and like a few had said to Kingdon at the end of this race, if it ends up costing Yuri that vital win. I mean, it's not vital for him, but you know, a win's a win, and in JACKOCAR, a win is something that is valued highly, so we'll have to wait and see. Clouds not looking too dark at the minute, so the threat of rain is not too high, but that can all change within a few laps.
Yeah, you say
So
Yuri and Kingdon Kingdon's overtaking everyone.
Oh.
As he gave everyone's position back. He's ahead of Yuri now. He's got to let Yuri through, no? Yeah, he lets Yuri through.
He should let Yuri through.
Kingdon's got a 5-second penalty for hitting Jake, even though he should have been nowhere near him. Indeed. Yeah. You mentioned Yuri might not want the win, as Yuri's now... Jake's going side by side, but Kingdon's overtaking Jake. Kingdon's overtaking Jake. Kingdon's now going to overtake Indecisive. Indecisive is in the wall. What is Kingdon's car doing? Is this a glitch?
I don't know.
Kingdon's hit Yuri. No, Yuri's hit. Yeah, Kingdon's hit Yuri. Yuri's hit Kingdon.
Yuri has a 10-second time penalty for Kingdon's
So one of those
car.
can get removed. One of those can get removed.
Yeah, one of those will be.
But I think the best position now for Yuri is to stay the hell away. Just stay away. No point trying to get any more penalties. You've ruined. Well, one penalty was enough, but two now. You won't get both removed because you'll serve one. You've lost the position, but just get it on the restart. Kingdon's going to have to serve a 5-second as well. So Gareth will lead them, has to do one green flag running lap, but VSR Clark behind, both yet to stop. Splinter will probably stop, maybe in 5 laps, maybe not even 5 laps, but anywhere. Oh, is it raining? It's looking a bit gloomy, shiny on the track. Maybe they're holding out for the rain. 3-second time penalty as we're about to get under green flag running. It's Gareth from VSR Clark. We're back underway, and there's a big gap between quite a few drivers. Yuri's got to jump on a few. Cloud and Waze are going side by side. It's 2 abreast, 2x2 through turn 2, and Yuri's going to have to go around the outside of Kingdon to get that move stuck. It's going to try and get by Cloudy's Waze. Yuri's on the back and ready to pounce, but wants to make moves as quickly and safely as possible. Waze is on warm softs and want to get by him quickly. We'll have the better traction. Here we go then, down towards the end of the second DRS straight. Will there be enough room up the inside? Backs out of it, and we'll have to wait again, but Kingdom might get a fight back. But Waze is loose out of that corner as he normally is, and they're going to go side by side down towards the hairpin. To the left, to the right, Yuri to the inside. Waze is going to... Oh, there's contact. And
this is
there's
caused a
carnage.
roadblock. Oh,
and there's carnage.
Absolute carnage there. I think Yuri got the better exit. Went one way, Waze weaved. Yuri was down the inside and Waze just left no room. That's a interesting incident to be viewed in the stewards, because both drivers there could have done a little bit more to avoid that. Clark jumps into the pits. Yuri still in 4th place, so not many drivers got ahead. I think it was Cloud that went around the outside of them all. So
no, Cloud was already ahead. Cloud was already ahead. Yellow flag, Kingdon's out of the race. Kingdon is out the Grand Prix. Where's he lost that?
Inside. I think he's
that.
hit.
That's at the exit of turn 1.
Yeah. I wonder if the contact with somebody else.
Not too sure, but safety car. And Clark pitting has actually saved his race more than anything. Excuse me. We're hitting towards the halfway stage, and this is where the clouds are starting to get darker. Rain is practically imminent, and everyone except Gareth, who's already made at least one stop. Kaya hasn't made a stop yet either. So Gareth and Kaya are the only 2 drivers yet to make a stop. I think... Who's in a good position? Yuri Newgarden in a good position. Kamababa can be in a good position on younger tyres. Bill's in a good position. Baza can be in a good position. Anyone at the back can be in a good position, but there's a lot of traffic ahead, especially for Clark, people dragging him indecisive.
As much as we all want this rain to come, there's one driver that has made 2 stops, and he's on. Well, 2 drivers have made 2 stops. Can both go to the end on their mediums. That's Kamababa and Jess. So if the rain does not come, they are in wonderful positions. However, we do believe rain is imminent. It's quite bright in Sector 1, but Sector 2 and 3 gets a lot darker, so under the safety car period, we might see a little bit of rain. Gareth still out in front without making a stop.
It started raining, by the way. I'm on board with Splinter. And there's a few streaks of rain across his cockpit. And this is going to be the point now, the crossover point. When do people jump the gun to go into the pits? Obviously, they, even if it's chucking it down with rain and it is into weather, every single driver cannot dive into the pits when the safety car does. Everyone has to do one green flag running out. You might think, oh, well, that's not safe. Drive to the conditions and you'll be fine. May cause a little bit of carnage, but
that's what we stand for in JACKOCAR. Carnage is key.
Yeah. Clean carnage. Yuri and Waze might not have been clean carnage. Waze being the biggest loser of that. Will we get safety car in this lap? Probably not. Indecisive and Evil Dragon yet to catch up. As Clark and Jess have now hit each other, the two VSR people have decided to bang wheels, and Jess and Clark have both got 5-second time penalty. A lot of penalties on the board. Yuri's got 10. We'll serve 1 and have to maybe get 1 removed at the end. Newgarden has none. Bill has 3. Waze has 3. I don't know why I said Newgarden's name. I was just going down the order. Jess has 5 seconds. VSR Clark has 11. Indecisive has 11. And Evil Dragon has 3.
So, I did question Gareth, by the way. I was like, 17, 18 laps on those mediums is a long time without stop. However, if this rain comes and it's getting a lot heavier by the lap, then he might have done this perfectly, because although one set of inters will go the distance, 2 sets of inters might be significantly quicker. We're not going to get any turkey kind of real life action there, but we might get some heavier rain towards the end of the race.
Jess and Clark have hit each other again, by the way. So VSR Clark now has 16 seconds and Jess has 10. VSR Clark has no front wing. So I feel that all those penalties are on VSR Clark. He's now going to have to make a pit stop. Hopefully, safety car is in this lap. Costs him anyway. Because even though he's got no front wing, he's done that himself. There could be deemed as pitting illegally. Safety car in this lap.
He has to.
I don't think it's wet enough.
Wait, surely.
Yeah,
but if it's going to get wetter, you don't want to put softs on again.
That's true, but could there be another safety car that brings you back into the pack? The traction looks quite loose, but we're going to go on board with Gareth as he gets us underway once. We'll get us underway, I believe, once again. Splinter will be the man he's trying to beat off the line. And Yuri's going to be at the heels of these guys as well.
Evil Dragon got a puncture just before we get back underway at the rear of the field, so he's going to have to pit straight away.
We're underway. Yuri's going to get Cloud into turn 1, is he? They're side by side. Yellow flag sector 3 for Evil Dragon. You said a puncture?
Evil Dragon, yeah.
It's very slippy.
Does indeed.
Waze is losing positions, battling side by side with Bill. Is there contact between the two? Not too sure, but Waze gets ahead. Oh, Basil does well to avoid the back of Bill and tries to go around his outside, which will turn to the inside on leading onto the straight, but after going for a position, he's going to lose one. Speaking of losing, everyone's losing traction because the conditions look like they're worsening. Based on everyone struggling on the exit of corners, and the pace just looks like it's slowed down a lot.
Yeah, it's the likes of Kia and Clock and Evil Dragon as well with the inters on are going to fare a lot better than some of these guys that have had to obviously stay out. So I kind of assume we're going to see all of the drivers pit for the intermediate at either the end of this lap, definitely at the end of next lap.
If it's the top 3, I'd probably gamble it. Yeah, is everyone going to dive in? Will Yuri try move up the inside of Cloud, but he's got to defend from Newgarden who's trying to go around his outside into the pit lane. This is going to be crucial now. Who's double stacking with who? Because every single person who's on dry tyres is going to be in on inters. Yuri has a free pit stop, and so will Newgarden. Gareth's going to be clear as well because he was at the lead. Splinter should be fine unless it was Gareth. Splinter is fine. Cloud's fine. So I think Yuri's the one who's lost out the most. Yuri has. He's lost 3 positions to Cloud. Not to Cloud, to Newgarden, Karababa and Baza. Was he held up by another guy in front double stacking, which has cost him 3? Will he get out ahead of Kaya? He will. So he's lost 3 in this changeable condition. However, Gareth does need to stop one more time. So your net race leader is now Cloud because he's got the move done on Splinter, who's got these tyres into a working window perfectly before Splinter has.
Yeah, so let's see now, can Cloud go close that gap a little bit more to Gareth, or Gareth pull away in these wet conditions? We've not seen too many wet races in Kia series. We've got a few drivers on the back of Jess as well, so Jess holding her own up in P10, so she'll be pretty pleased with that one. Let's see how these drivers fare. A bit of a train from 2nd down to about 6th, 5th. So it will be interesting to see. Jake gets past Jess as well as Clark, so that one won't have been fought too hard by Jess.
The two that were hitting each other in the safety car swap positions. Maybe that's what VSL Clark was trying to hint. Let me through, let me through. You can't do that on the safety car. And VSL Clark got angry and decided to bang his front wing. Oh, who's in the pits? Kai's in the pits again. If you do make an illegal pit stop, you can counteract the 30-second time penalty that you will get. Can be counteracted by you making 2 extra stops per illegal pit stop. You had a flag sector 1 and 2. There's been an alright collision. Cloud's out. He was ahead of Splinter and maybe challenging for the win. Was out of this Grand Prix. At the exit of term, yeah, at the exit of sector 1, end of sector 1. Newgarden's now promoted to a podium position. That's not only that, it's net P2 for Newgarden because Gareth has to stop again. This is incredible for Newgarden because not only is so far down in the points table compared to everyone who's inside the top 10, a win would not only knock whoever's 10th out, he would promote himself in. And it'd be done based on a win, and his points difference between everyone who has won and him getting his first win of not only this season but his JACKOCAR career could be a surprise package for the playoffs.
Yeah, I just wonder as well with that incident. I wonder if I'm kind of assuming Cloud just lost the rear coming through that sector because of how slippy conditions are. Maybe the overspeed he got, although he was ahead of Splinter, wasn't he? So maybe just lost the back end and put the power down a little bit too early. But Camo Baba has worked himself back up to 4th after the drive-through he got off the line for making a jump start. So he'll not be too displeased with that one. Lap 23 of 35, so still 12 laps to be completed.
Yeah, he's in a good position, is Camo Babo. 1 pit stop under scrutiny. However, I'm pretty sure it was legal. He has made 3 now. So if he makes 1 more, that illegal pit stop goes out the window anyway. So Karababa on 3 pit stops is in a good position for getting the win that he should have had at where was it? Where were we before Italy? Risky.
Before Italy?
He got a 5-second penalty. Post-race penalty for Karababa. France, that's the one. He should have won at France. Splinter took victory there. And since has not scored a point. But Splinter now wants for 2 wins in 6 races. After getting 3 podiums, 3 P2s in a row.
I was literally just going to say that Splinter wasn't on for winning races. Quite fancied himself a P2. And tell you what, he's on for a potential win today. But if Newgarden can squeeze his way past, or Gareth can make that pit stop up back on him, so we'll have to wait and see to find out to the end of the race. Babo still one to watch. All the drivers from 5th all the way to, well, last bar. Kia and Jake have penalties of some form. So 3 seconds for Baza, that 5 second for Yuri, but probably look to get that removed. Wade has 3 seconds. Clark has 11. 5 for Jess, 3 for Bill, 6 for Indecisive, and 3 for Evil Dragon. So a few corner going penalties in there, and now it's wet as well. The grip level was going to be lower, so a few of these drivers might pick up a few more. But the rain falls here in Canada, and it falls ever heavier since the initial first few drops we saw. Will we see wet weather tyres, or will it stay intermediate conditions? That's something we don't know. That's something the drivers maybe don't know either. So, but the track definitely looks a lot slippier than what it did about 5-10 minutes ago. Safety car restart will be important. What will be important is something we don't tend to pick up on a lot of the time is tyre warming, especially in the wet conditions. Safety car in this lap, so without the drier line formed, I suppose the tyre warming will be crucial for these guys. And Garrett's in the box seat essentially because he knows when he's going, but nobody else knows. Well, everybody knows it's between the 2 pit stops, the 2 boxes and the finish line, as Clark spun at the hairpin, should I say. So got to get himself just one way to warm his tyres up, I suppose. But yeah, Gareth, like I said, in the box seat because he can control the pace, control the tyre warm up. Splinter almost has to do a bit of a Kimi Räikkönen impression if he wants any chance of getting Gareth into turn 1. Same with the drivers behind. So here we go toward turn 1. Nicely done from Gareth. Newgarden not quite getting the benefit. Kamababu looked down the inside, but Baza round the outside, turns to the inside. So Kamababo losing a position there. Wayne's
Newgarden's round.
Oh no. Unfortunately for Newgarden, it promotes everybody behind him up one. Ways down the inside of Yuri. Yuri's then going to fight this one back as they go side by side. Don't want any aeroplane crash here. Ways backs out of it. Sensible from Wade's. Bill falling down the order a little bit as well. Jess up into 8th with Clark on her inside. Oh, Clark's around. Contact again between these two. And Clark goes...
Oh, spinning, no ghosting. Remember, he's going to be in the middle of the track, and there's contact with Clark and Newgarden. Sorry to go over you there, risky. Right. But
that's going to be looked at, I imagine, in the stewards.
Dangerous re-entry. Clark's going to defend this for some reason. I'm not sure whether it has damage. Penalty for Clark for that corner cut.
Oh, we've got Gareth round, and that nearly caused a bigger collision than what we've seen before. I think Splinter got some damage, or at least it hindered him massively, because now Baza is leading this race.
Someone who else is inside the playoffs at the moment, but yet to get a win, and could be the surprise package of them all. No one predicted Baza to win this race, I don't think. But at the moment, he's taking advantage of everyone else's slip-ups. Kamababu's still in there and doesn't have a penalty compared to what Baza has. Yuri's clawed some positions back up as well. Gareth now getting by Evil Dragon. Yeah, Yuri now back in a potential position to get a podium. Baza does only have 3 seconds. Yuri has 3 with a 5 that could be removed as Gareth goes side by side with Evil Dragon again. I think Bill gets by Jess. A lot of position changes left, right and centre. It's hard to keep up with everything. But with that spin from Newgarden, he's dropped not only from 3rd down to 13th, but could have been leading this race because of the incident between Gareth and Splinter.
Yeah, and I just wonder if Splinter did pick up even the slightest bit of damage, because he's dropped time to Baza. Baza now just has to keep it clean, keep it on the racetrack, and pull a 3-second gap before the end of this race. Hope for no safety cars as Waze and Yuri side by side. Waze goes for a spin. Kamababo goes for a spin. Simultaneous spinners for those two. Promotes Yuri up into P3. Waze just has to be careful on track re-entry. Kamababo did it nice and safely. So this race is blown absolutely wide open, and we've still got 9 laps of racing as we have a yellow flag for, is that Jess? No, Jess get overtaken. I think it's Kia that went for a
It's still
spin.
Waze.
Someone went for a spin.
Waze hadn't come back on. Kia's gone for a spin, I think, as well, but Waze hadn't come back on the track yet.
So, where do we stand after the insane safety car restart? Baza leads this race from Splinter, from Yuri back into third.
Oh, Bill's round.
Bill is round. Is that going to be a safety car? He's got to be careful.
Nah, I don't think it will be.
Not quite behind. Yeah, that's nice and safe from Bill. So, all good there. Now, Yuri on the back of Splinter. So, like I said earlier, Splinter maybe struggling a little bit, maybe got a little bit of damage to his front wing. As Clark and Jess swap positions for yet another time in this race. And
lost one, lost two.
Penalties coming into effect for this race for the likes of Yuri will not be helpful for him. That 3-second penalty that he picked up when fighting with Waze. If he gets his 5 seconds removed, obviously 3 seconds will have to stand. Waze gets by Jess, but now we're going to look for Yuri on the back of Splinter. Not going to make a move into the chicane. The Wall of Champions is always there watching you, so don't want to do it here, but maybe going to do it towards someone. Don't think he'll quite get the exit, but he's there. He's putting the pressure on Splinter, and Splinter has to be careful now, because I don't think Splinter can catch Baza at this pace. So at this rate, Baza just needs to keep it on the track, keep his head down, and who knows, Baza could win this race, but never say never with 7 laps to go.
Even though Gareth has had a spin, he's still not far off this lead pack with everyone else's dramas. Karababa's still there, essentially. Not far off the lead. But yeah, Gareth's got a 2-second gap to close down for this fight. You always got to be careful, because with that 3-second time penalty, that may not or may not get removed at all. You don't usually remove 3-second time penalties. Unless there's certain circumstances where it is physically possible for you not to have stayed within track limits. Jake is in this fight, and Gareth is within that window. Yuri up the inside and went for a bold dive. Spun.
Gets himself back on track. So that what was potential P2 now in 6th, but still on the back of this trade. And something else to mention, Gareth still only made 1 stop.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was like, Gareth's in this fight. He's not, and it doesn't like it's getting heavier. It might stay like this, intermediate conditions. That won't help Gareth, because he'll have to make another stop, and everyone else can just run these into. However, I think pitting sooner rather than later would be the best option for Gareth, because if there's a late safety car, it really will ruin his race.
Yeah, Gareth looking probably to pit now would be his best option, because it's either now or never, really, because otherwise he will get stuck behind if a safety car comes out, and then have to pit on the second to last lap and lose all of the time. But just looking at Jake, who could potentially get past Splinter and win this race, as Jess. Oh, he's letting a few people by. I thought she'd gone for a spin, just being on the cautious side, letting a few drivers go, not wanting to ruin any races. She knows she's in for a chance for some good points if she finishes as Waze gets by indecisive. So yeah, if Jake gets past Splinter, maybe the pace is there to win yet another race. You'd only have to gain a 10th, sorry. But as it stands, Baza will win this race.
You will, when the laps are starting to tick down another yellow flag sector 3. It's all of that hairpin. Waze is there again in the middle of it, and down in 9th is Waze now. Maybe an incident with Indecisive or Evil Dragon, maybe not Evil Dragon, Indecisive, maybe, or just a spin himself. But Bill on the back of VSR Clark down towards the final chicane, not warranting a move. Could get a better exit than VSR Clark and challenge down towards turn 1. This could be Bill's best option and best chance to get inside the top 10. VSR Clark covers off. No late dive from Bill, but deep for Clark. And Bill could try and get a better exit on the exit of turn 2 and maybe go for an overtake into turn 3. Or just line him up for the middle sector chicane. With there being no DRS, it's all about how much downforce are you running, how fast is the car in a straight line. You've got to run downforce in the wet weather conditions to get through all the corners. But do you take the risk and put a little bit more put a little less downforce to get the straight line speed to make overtakes that little bit easier in the wet when there's no benefit of DRS.
Yeah, DRS is such a big help here, and Jake picked up another penalty, so that will not help him in this battle for second. In fact, the lead, as Gareth is going to get a run down the inside at the final couple of corners. If he makes this stick there, what move this will be. Jake pulls out of it. Gareth, though, still only made one stop, and I just wonder if he knows he has to make that second stop. But as far as we're concerned, he is aware of the rules. Even in the interchangeable conditions, 2 stops have to be made, otherwise disqualification will be applied. And in fact, Gareth, all his hard work this race will be removed.
Yeah. He used his Joker in Silverstone effectively, won the race. You've only got one Joker a season, so he used it wisely. And as you mentioned, disqualification for not following the rules. Doing a mandatory two stop. Sorry. So I'd pick now rather than later.
He has the pace to win this race if he only has to make one stop. He could go past Splinter and be within that buzzer time penalty, but that extra stop he has to make obviously is going to cost him, and then maybe even hold Splinter up. So I think Bazza is well within a chance to win this race. Obviously, without penalties. Splinter picks up a penalty, so now Bazza really has a chance to win this race. Because Jake is essentially net P3 with
He's got a penalty.
Gareth.
Jake's got a penalty.
Has a penalty as well. So Cameron Babbo is really the biggest threat to Bazza. It's just if Bazza knows that or not.
He probably doesn't, or he may know with there being ERT boys. But the gap that Baz has got on Cameron Babbo is 1.7 seconds, even with the penalty. So success for Bazza could. Him and Cameron Babbo have penalties, and the gap's sufficient enough for Bazza to hang on to that P1. I'm not too sure Jake will hang on. Splinter may lose the position as well. Yuri could have been one of those people to benefit from this. But that little spin here at this corner really cost. There's 3 laps to go, Risky, and the rain looks like it's getting a little bit harder. Might still be good for intermediates, but these tyres are going to start to wear out a little bit more as the laps tick over. But it's a nice little train here for the battle for P2, all led by Splinter, and Gareth still yet to pit. He doesn't pit. He's got to pit at the end, not the end of this lap, but the end of the next lap is the last lap he can pit. End of lap 34 is the last time he can pit. Was waiting yet another time.
Yeah, so Gareth then maybe strategically not pitting, but I don't know if he knows he's only made one stop. But it's going to need to be looked at, and probably disqualification will be going his way as he has a bit of a snap, and then Jake will come down the inside. Not quite got ahead, so it's going to be close between these two in terms of on-track battling. Kamababo and Yuri just behind these two, so if anything happens, both of those will capitalise on this position. I think Yuri will stay P6 as it stands, even dragging a bit too far back to gain, and has lots of penalties. So in terms of the order, the final standings, it's looking very close. Kamababo is the one that's going to make the most moves. In fact, Kamababo will jump up to second, I believe. So just has to keep it clean. I think he knows that as Gareth does pick, so Gareth is well aware of the rules, and it was a good run. As we have a yellow flag sector 3. Who's that for? Not quite sure, because everyone's going the right way. Could have been indecisive, letting Waze by. Yeah, I think it was indecisive, so unfortunate for him. But you know, Waze is the faster driver, I guess, and teammates help each other like that. So where does Gareth come out then? P7. Evil Dragon just up the road from him, so Gareth has someone to go get after, but 15 seconds back from that train he was once part of. So, not ideal, but he's got 2 laps, I suppose, to get as far up the field as possible. But, yeah, Splinter as well, by the way, closing that gap on Bazza as we have a sector... Yellow flag sector 1. I think that's just
risky.
Yeah, so that's my brain's way of telling me stop rambling. But yeah, Clark's struggling, I think, in these conditions because Bill all over the back of him too.
Yeah, Splinter has got to close the gap down to try and secure the win. Camarabo, you mentioned sitting pretty. What is that gap now to the leader? 3.8, so 7/10 of a second essentially between Camarabo and a win and a spot in the playoffs, being outside the playoffs as well. So another driver threatening positions inside the playoffs, being outside and getting those late wins in the regular season.
I tell you what, Gareth is absolutely flying on those fresh inters. He got by Evil Dragon at such rapid space, even like 2.5 seconds clear of him now. So Gareth maybe wishes he picked that a little bit earlier. Might have done him good. But yeah, Yuri, Camobabo, Jake, Splinter, and now Baz are all in this top 5 fight. And gap to the leader from Camobabo is 3 seconds, bang on, just about. So Baz needs to get a move on, but it's just if his tyres can do it.
Yeah, it's getting tantalisingly close. So anyone could win this, because Splinter might try and go for it on track. He might think, oh, Camababa's there, might snatch it. But if I can get ahead of Bazza and pull away, maybe he could stay ahead of Camobabo. The gap keeps flickering inside and outside of 1 second between Camobabo and Jake. But what's the gap? As we head towards the finish line, Bazza has led a lot of laps here, but can he secure it at the end of this race? I don't think he will. Towards the line, he will finish in first on track, but I think it's going to be Camobabo to take victory once again. This time, he might be able to hold on to it. He wins the race by Bazza, Splinter and Jake. Yuri will get P5. Gareth P6. Evil Dragon P7. I'm sure Yuri will stay ahead of Gareth. Yeah, he will.
Yeah, Yuri will.
Evil Dragon will finish in 7th. Waze still battling between VSL Clark, Bill and Waze. Waze might get 8th, but penalties might drop him down. Bill, 9th,
Newgarden up to the line.
Newgarden to 8th because everyone ahead had penalties. So Newgarden, even though he had that spin, was inside the top 3, would have been in Baz's position and leading the race, secures another. Waze 9th, Bill 10th, Indecisive 11th, VSR Clark drops down to 12th. Jess will be 13th to secure more points, but Indecisive will increase that gap between herself and the playoffs. But that gap will get grown even bigger because Camababo has won and slotted himself inside. Kaya is our final finisher. 14 out of 18 managed to finish. Kaya to the line will secure some points. It's Cloud, Kingan, Quinn and Baba Riley, your 3 non-finishers of this race. Not bad.
So then, what a race we had there. It went from dry to wet, and in these tricky conditions, Camababo came out on top yet again. Bazza drove exceptionally well for the latter half of the stage, so latter half of the race, should I say. So unfortunate to Bazza, but P2 I'm sure I'll be pretty happy with, and Splinter on that 3rd step. So overall, pretty good race, pretty exciting race. I think driver of the day for me, I'm gonna give it to Bazza because he just drove exceptionally in the wet. Just the tyres, I think, dropped off. So although he didn't win the race, Bazza will get my driver of the day from P9 on the grid to P1. 2, not 1.
Yeah, good drive from Bazza. But Camababo secures his position in the playoffs, hopefully. However, if that first safety car pit stop made by Camababo was illegal, he will lose yet another win, and Bazza will get promoted to victory. But I'm pretty sure it was legal because he was exiting the pit lane quite promptly after the safety car was called. So I'm sure the stewards will ask if that is legal or not. He did make an extra stop anyway, but he would have to cancel out that with another stop to make sure that that pit stop would be nullified. So it's Carol, Bazza and Splinter are your podium. Jake, Yuri top 5. Gareth, after making that late pit stop, is 6th. Evil Dragon 7th. New Garden with the 2nd points paying position in 8th. Waze and Bill round out your top 10. It's Indecisive, Clark, Jess and Kaya, your final finishers. With Cloud, Quinn, who else didn't finish? Baba Riley and one other. Who was it, Risky?
I genuinely can't remember.
Who else didn't finish the race? But yeah, 6 rounds down. I think 2 to go in the regular season. Up next,
Until we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, up next is Azerbaijan Baku, one of my all-time favourite tracks to drive around. Not sure a lot of these drivers will like there being another street circuit on the calendar, but could be exciting for us to watch and commentate on. My driver of the day, I think, will go to Evil Dragon for his drive from, I think it was like 17th to 7th. So he gets my nomination, and we need a third. Carababo for the win?
Yeah, Camababo, because he got the penalty drive-through at the start, didn't he? And
yeah, he did get a drive-through
back, so
yeah, drive-through
start. We will give it him.
Yeah, so Carababo, Bazza, and Evil Dragon are our nominations. Next week is Baku. Thursday, there is no race for JACKOCAR. We're on a 2-week break for Cup Series. They'll be joined on the 28th of October for Austria. Thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure commentating alongside you again, Risky, once again. See you all next week.
See you later.